Now like to welcome our first guest, Jackson Director of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, Zoe Lyons. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Busy lady.
Thank you.
I saw you at the Summit on Violence, I
Yes.
think. Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
a great day.
It really was. It really was. Just to be able to come together and hear the speakers and learn together and then start planning.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
important. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
So it is Child Abuse Neglect Prevention Month.
Prevention Month.
So
yes.
we're collecting items here at
Oh, good.
JTV. We're trying to help out. What is happening at the MDHHS?
So today, actually, as I hear it's going to snow and rain, and we're supposed to plant a pinwheel garden.
Okay.
So we're going to do that actually at the park, and I was going to look up the name of the park, across from where our Child Abuse Neglect Council is.
I think that's Austin Blair, but I'm not sure.
I think it is, yes. And then at our own office, then we're going to come back and we're going to do another one on our building, in our yard.
Nice.
So we'll have blue pinwheels as the sign of child abuse prevention.
Okay.
And it's really supposed to be the symbol of, childhood should just be carefree and kids shouldn't have to worry about how things are at home or be afraid. And so a blue pinwheel is sort of the symbol of that. And so we use them we plant pinwheel gardens, we hang up pictures, and
Nice.
when we're in the office, we have coloring contests. It's kind of silly, but just kind of fun as well.
Yeah. How can our viewers help in A, you guys mentioned the drive. What items do you need? And B, in bringing awareness, what are things that people should be looking for to really look out for and be an advocate for?
So we really,
Kids at
in
risk.
terms of support, CP CAN is our Child Abuse Prevention Council, and they really could use support all year round. You
Okay.
know, so we talk about it here in April, but they fund programs that help support our families, and so they get some grants, but they're just a local kind of support for our families, and they also do some great fatherhood programs.
Oh.
So I think one of the things that in our work is that we tend to focus on moms. And dads are such an important part of families, right? And kids need both moms and dads, and so support for fathers. And even if you're not living together as parents, how can you still be involved and help build up your children with the fatherly love, just like motherly love. So there's always that financial way that you can support it. The thing about we try to make sure people understand there's a difference between neglect and poverty, right?
Okay.
They're not the same thing.
Sure.
Some kids don't have what they need, but it's because families are living in poverty.
Okay.
So one of the best things that we can do, though, for families living in poverty is give them their basic needs.
Okay.
So food is a huge thing. One of our groups, Residents in Action, which I'm part of, has been meeting with members of the community who have had food insecurity before, and you just can't imagine how important food is.
Yeah.
Kids talk about, I can't think about learning when I don't have food, and so same thing with parents. They're so concerned about getting food on the table,
Yeah.
then other things fall to the side. So really helping people get their basic needs met. Food and housing are huge.
Okay.
What's the best way to support the food and housing? Is it financially?
Financially, so there are food banks. There is the South Central Michigan Food Bank, which a lot of our local food banks get food from. You can also donate to our local food banks. There's the food pantry that's right over by CP CAN in the park. There's the Emmanuel Food Pantry. I think the Church of Nazarene has a food pantry. So places that people can go. They come to my office and apply for food assistance, but that doesn't always happen the exact same day.
Yeah.
So how do we get food for the next 24 hours before we can get our food
Yeah.
assistance?
Yeah. You mentioned being able to tell the difference between neglect and poverty, and I think a lot of us assume, right? What if you're concerned? What should you do? Should you call?
Yeah, you should call.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about children, you should call. The good thing is, so there's a 800 number, and I can tell everybody what that is, but you can easily find it as well. You can just Google it,
Sure.
Child Abuse Neglect in Michigan. we have not just Children's Protective Services programs, we now have a prevention worker. So if someone calls in a complaint and it doesn't rise to the level of what would be investigated, we actually can still have someone go out and check in with them. It's totally voluntary.
Okay.
The family can say no thank you, but they also could say, yeah, we could use a little bit of help. And so our worker will help them with that as well.
Are there any markers that people should look for to kind of differentiate between the two?
You know, we tell people, if you're concerned, call.
Okay.
You know, certainly for child abuse, it's the things like bruises and marks that you see on kids that don't seem to have an explanation.
Sure.
Sometimes for neglect, it's kids who come to school in the same clothes day after day after day, or who don't have lunches and don't get school lunch. Although I think that is not, you know, almost everybody can get school lunch now. Wearing shorts and flip-flops, not teenagers in January, because teenagers will do that anyway. You know, but just the kinds of things that are they sick and they're not getting to the doctor and things like that. And again, those things can so easily be, I don't have a doctor, I don't have Medicaid. It's not necessarily neglect.
Okay.
But we will figure that out and we will help them.
And so once you've differentiated that, if it just is, you know, the family just can't supply those things, then you help put them in touch with the organizations that can?
We do.
Okay.
We do. So we have a supply of Meyer gift cards, which frankly is a godsend to us, that we can spend throughout the year.
Okay.
Just on Friday, I delivered, you know, a couple of families $50 just to be able to go to Meyer and get some food and things for the Easter weekend. We actually had 2 workers on Friday that took Meyer gift cards and went out and bought pack and plays because they had been with families who had brand new babies with no cribs. So they go out, they get a pack and play, and so these are just the kinds of you know, small things, but they can make a difference.
But there is help out there for people, if you know, people trying to get back on their feet. I know you've told me in the past there's money available possibly for transportation or car insurance, something that you're able to help pay for so you can help people better their financial situations.
Right, we can help pay fix cars if your car has car trouble. We can help pay for insurance, like once in a lifetime, but we can pay for 6 months of car insurance.
Oh, wow.
We can pay back taxes and foreclosure costs. Our goal is to keep people stable. So if people have housing, we want to maintain that.
Absolutely.
Eviction notices, we can help with that. And you know, we're going to look at things like, is this affordable? Is it something they can really do after we pay the crisis?
Yeah.
But all of that is important to keep families in a stable place.
So Zoe, this is such an eye-opener for me, because I think of your department as, okay, that's who I call if I see or hear of somebody in need. But if I am in need, I can actually call.
You can.
And you guys have the resources to help me or find the resources from there. That's incredible.
Yeah. I just had a relative who just recently went through a couple bouts of illness and couldn't work. And so then got in trouble with food and got in trouble with rent. And I said, go to your local office and apply. This is exactly the kind of crisis that we're meant for, is to help people get through their crisis and then teach them what the resources are, and so that maybe next time they're in crisis, they have it all set. They know what to do.
Now, I want to know what your trick is for compartmentalizing, because I have to believe at the end of the day, you've got a lot of heavy, you know, because you want to save everybody, you want to fix every situation.
I have said very publicly, I think it's because I'm ADD. I don't ruminate on stuff.
Okay.
Although my kids would say that's not true. Maybe my kids I do.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of able to just switch topics pretty quickly.
Okay.
But we have lots. My staff are amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. And they struggle sometimes too. Like it's just hard to see all of the things that families go through and then just go home at night. So
have you seen the needs change over the last 2 years with the pandemic and all the changes in the world? Has your job and role in the community changed?
Yeah, I think basic needs has been really the focus for the last couple of years. There was some early research that said, you know, bad things didn't happen behind closed doors when we were all together, or, you know, had to stay in our homes, which I think there was a lot of fear about.
Yeah.
Now we're 2 years in, and we are starting to see some things that we didn't know about when people were closed up. But I don't. So I think it's yet to be known what we're
Okay.
going to see. Our numbers are actually still down,
Okay.
and our office is moving into a space of, we know that children are much better off with their own parents.
Right.
Okay.
So anything that we can do to keep kids with their families, we're going to do. And then if we can't, then we talk about the possibility of filing a petition and children going into foster care. But even then, we want to look at grandmas and grandpas and aunts and
Yeah.
uncles, because kids are still better off with family members. And they tell us that when they get older, they come back and they say, this was really hard on me.
Yeah.
If you could have kept me with my parents,
Yeah.
or put me with my siblings, and so we're trying to do better and learn from people who have lived through it.
There's a need still for foster care.
There is.
I've told you before, I've been able to watch some friends of mine go through the entire process, and it's amazing. It went by a lot quicker than I thought it would go, but it's an option out there for people, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And as I've said, the kids that need it the most right now in Jackson for us are older kids.
Really?
Yeah, and by older kids, we're talking about age 10 and up.
Okay.
So, but 13, 14, 15-year-olds, we have people, it's hard to take in those age kids and love them through all of the mistakes they're going to make.
Right.
Because they are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so we do sometimes find home for them. They make a mistake and it's like, oh, you got to move them. And then that's hard too.
Yeah.
So, but if you have a heart for teenagers, we
Yeah.
could use you.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, that's one more call to action for
Yeah.
our viewers to really
Absolutely.
soul search and
Yes.
figure out how they can best help.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Zoe, for being with us
Thank
this morning.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Zoe Lyons from the MDHHS. We'll be right back. More of the morning show after this.